Today we are answering a question from one of our listeners about the connection codes and decision fatigue, making decisions. And this is something, man, if you saw how long I stood in an aisle at Target trying to pick shampoo out, it's a long time. I totally relate to that. And it just goes back to how everything logistical comes back to emotion. So that is where we are going today. Welcome to the Connection Codes. This is the podcast that breaks open our emotions that take us from being disconnected to connected in our relationships and in ourselves. I am your host, Tara Wages, and joining me is marriage and family therapist, clinical sexologist, Dr. Glenn Hill, and his incredible wife, Phyllis. And together, they have founded the Connection Codes, which is the guide to human connection. And we're so glad you're here.
Mm-hmm. Hello, world.
Wow. Hi, friends. You know, and it's interesting when you mentioned that email, I think that it really, the idea of, decision fatigue, I'm like, wow, do I struggle with that? Are there areas where that happens for me? I have to think about that. I know that we have a daughter who really has shared that with us. Like she really struggles with it, and which has gotten us talking about it as in, what is all the emotion behind it? And, I love that you mentioned something as simple as standing in Target and looking at shampoo and not knowing. And, and I think, babe, you probably have some of that too, much more where I'm just like, just grab one. Who cares? I do so often. I am that person who's like, just push the button. Like if we get it wrong, we get it wrong.
Right.
There's a redo. Just buy that. If you don't like it, then we'll just buy another one.
Right.
Where I know that even in our interaction in the past, it's been even a conflict, which, I kind of, and I don't know if the person who wrote the email was talking as much about how it affects relationships, because I know that for the two of us, your hesitancy to make the wrong decision drives me crazy. Like as in, I'm just like, what? I don't think it matters, but I understand that that's my internals. But for you, the internals is, but it does matter. And, we've talked about this over the years, even with your writing, that you don't let go of things. You, even in responding to emails, and you're getting much better at it, but you hesitate because you think this is life or death. This email, how I respond, that almost like in everything, there's a right or wrong. And so you better get it right.
Right.
Just like with buying shampoo, there's a right. Now, what is it? You've got 15 options or 30 options in front of you.
You have 100 options in front of you.
100 options in front of you.
90, it feels like 99 of them are going to dry your hair out or leave it too oily. So you have to pick out which is the one that's going to work.
Yeah.
And it feels very overwhelming.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of emotion behind that, which some of it is the fear of the failure, fear of getting it wrong.
Yep.
And then the just like the other side, I think there is a lot of fear in it. And so then there's that hesitancy, like, I'm not even going to try.
Yeah.
And it is fascinating how much that can affect your own personal life because things take so much longer, or, the relationships around you. Because I think about that even with throwing things away. It's but what if? What if someday I will need that item? If I throw it away today, then the what if? Or, all of those kinds of things.
Yeah, when we're able to put the emotion words in the sentence, what if? Well, that's a fear experience. I feel fear that someday I will need that, whatever it is. And I love what you said, that that not everything is a right or wrong. Well, it's deep within me, and I can't, psychoanalyze this to death. I have no idea. But I function that there always is a right or wrong. And we've gotten it to the point now with us that it's a lighthearted thing, but I'll say, well, what's the right answer? What's if we're going to order something on Amazon, what's the right choice? Because there's, in a store, there's all these, in Amazon, there might be 700 of them. And what's the right, you can get this one for $19.99, or you can get two of these for $24.99. What's the right thing? And for most of our relationship, I thought you knew. I thought you always knew the right answer and that I didn't.
Wow.
And so there was so much fear that I was going to make the wrong decision, the wrong choice. And now I realize that, oh, no, number one, there's rarely a right or wrong answer. There may be good, better, and best, but there's rarely a right or wrong. And as you say, it doesn't really even matter. So when I'm able to process the fear and to say to you, whoo, fear, 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 I feel so much fear about choosing the wrong thing. You're able to ooh me. You don't reassure me. You don't tell me it's going to be fine. And I process the emotion, and then I'm actually able to make the decision much more quickly. Not always, but much more quickly than I normally do.
I was thinking about just, again, with someone emailing in, we don't always know the backstory or what it all involves. Right. But there are times that I think being really intentional and saying, okay, let's block out some time and make some decisions about our summer plans. And then also starting that with the core emotion wheel, where you do an issue-specific wheel about your vacation. And then to be able to go ahead and proceed with making a decision and pushing the button that, and I know, like, even with just our daughter, because we were just talking about a trip that they're planning, and I know there's so much emotion in it, which is, it's like, man, if you don't process the emotion, I would say you're frozen. You're just stuck in it.
Yeah.
You can't, it's like the fear of making the wrong decision doesn't allow you to just make the decision.
Right.
And so it can be paralyzing.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure is the decision fatigue. That's where you get to, is just an overwhelming fatigue, because it's just paralyzing. You become paralyzed in it.
Well, and especially if it's something, which I guess I'm curious if this would even be considered a psychological disorder, because I am actually pretty good at making big decisions. If it's something that costs thousands of dollars, I can make that decision quick. Oh, you want us to go to New York? Yes, let's do it. If it's something very large, it is my day-to-day small decisions that leave me hours of time wasted. Right now, I'm trying to find out what shampoo is going to dye my hair pink again. I already bought one. That was $20. It didn't work. I tried it 3 times. Still didn't work. So now there's a few other options. Do I want to waste another $20? So instead, I have read 1,000 reviews on pink shampoo, because I also don't want it. It's got to be the right color. And I've wasted hours of time. My Taylor Swift outfit. What am I wearing to Taylor Swift? Hours of time into the wee hours of the night, watching TikToks and all of the things, trying to decide what I'm going to wear. If you're listening, do you have a recommendation? Message me. But it is like these decisions that I feel like I should be able to just like pull the trigger and buy the shampoo, pull the trigger and buy the protein powder, instead of reading so many reviews. Am I disordered?
Well, I'm not going to do a diagnosis live on air, but I would say
you're going to do it after. You're going to say, Tier, you got some serious problems.
With the whole connection codes mentality, that all that's happening is the nervous system gets dysregulated. Well, does your nervous system get dysregulated? Dang right it does. Well, then your psyche gets disordered. You're like, oh, crap, I don't know what to do. I can't decide. Fear, fear, fear. So is that a psychological disorder? Well, maybe not in the official DSM diagnosis, although I could actually argue that too. But yeah, your psyche gets disordered. And that's part of my whole dream, is that we usher this into the culture where we're not pathologizing you. We're like, oh, Tier, you've got some issues. You need whatever, to be in an institution. No. Yeah, her psyche got disordered. And if you can recognize it in yourself, go, whew, my psyche's going crazy. It is so disordered. It is just, really whacked out. Now you can be kind and gentle to yourself. Now you can process it with another person, whether Wes or Phyllis or whoever, and you co-regulate that. And you can do that in 20 seconds and be able to set yourself up for success with that decision, whatever it is.
I think that as far as in a relationship, because I think about that with you, where, you hold on to things, and I think that as a partner of someone like that, it's so easy to be unkind. And that, of course, is so destructive because it does two things. One, if that was my response to Glenn, he would become very secretive about what he keeps. Like, as in, he wouldn't trust me with that information, and he would kind of almost hoard whatever, not wanting me to know because he knows, oh, she'll just be unkind to me.
Right.
And so then that is so disconnecting.
Yeah.
And then, it is for him to be able to feel safe with me and to process through, and for me to know how to ooh him and how to just say, oh, what happens for you there? And for him to go, well, what if? What if someday? And, for him to be able to talk it through with me and to go, well, babe, I think it's okay if someday we do need it, we actually have the money, we could just buy it. And then it's almost like a soothing balm that says we're okay. And I get it why that is where you went for yourself in it, but you know what? We're okay. And there's actually more burden in keeping all the stuff, because then, where do we put it? And we have to be organized with that. And then can we ever even find it? And which is another side of it. I know that for Glenn, there is there's so many layers to it, because it's kind of that, okay, if you keep it all, well, then what system are we going to put it in? And of course, that's, I think, been a real pain point for you over the years, because the systems he creates, no one else in his life follows those systems. And so he goes to find his hammer, and he can't find the hammer.
Right.
And, for many years, we actually had a toolbox in our master closet.
Don't tell people that.
Well, it's not in there anymore.
No, it is.
Oh,
you
put it
don't
back
even
in
know
there.
about it. Well, never mind. Okay. It's not.
But it would drive Glenn crazy that he couldn't find a screwdriver and a hammer. Because if you go to the garage where we have the mega giant tool chest, it's like people are always messing with his tools. And so then he can't find anything. And so he has this little obviously secret toolbox in our master closet. And it's like, okay, there are systems, right? There's ways to go, okay, that drives me crazy. And it's funny, I get into the garage every once in a while, and with the help of a friend, which is also another thing. Sometimes you need a friend.
Yeah.
Even with trying to find pink shampoo, you may need someone to be that friend that goes, hey girl, I got you. I know exactly what you need to buy because I've done this. And that's the beauty of even opening up about topics like this, where we go, I really struggle in cleaning out our garage, but I have a really dear friend, Rowena, who will do it with me. And she's willing to throw anything away. It blows my mind. I'm like, Rowena, that still has stuff in it. And she'll go, well, when was the last time you used it? And I'm like, that's not the point. We can't throw that away. I'm always sending her car full of stuff to Goodwill. I don't know that it ever makes it to Goodwill. It probably goes to the dump, but I tell her, don't tell me. Just don't tell me. Whatever you do with it, just don't tell me. But, it's sometimes we just have to co-regulate in situations like that, in making decisions, to have to be able to talk about it, and then to be able to go, you know what, I need a friend. I know often I go over to my daughter's house, and I'm able to be that for her. Like, she'll even say, Mom, could you just clean out my fridge? Like, it's so painful for her to throw anything away that I can walk in and go, yeah, well, I don't feel that same way.
Yeah.
Because it's funny. It's harder for me at my house.
Oh, totally.
To clean out my garage, but I can go to somebody else's and very quickly clean out their garage.
And I think that underscores what we talk about so much as far as teamship. We need teamship.
Yeah.
We need people in our lives. And, when Rowena will ask me about something, she'll say, do you ever use this? And I'm like, I did several years ago. She'll go, I think I'll just throw it away. And I'm like, well, don't tell me. Just throw it away. And obviously I wouldn't have noticed because I haven't even used the thing in 3 years. And we have that, great chemistry where, of course, it doesn't make any sense to her. And she doesn't understand my experience, but she gets that is what I'm experiencing. But getting it down to just the practical literally in the moment, just go, whew, what's happening with me? What am I missing here? Oh, fear that I'm going to make the wrong decision. It's a pain point. I feel pain. I feel sadness that I have to make this decision. Or I think there's some loneliness in it too. Literally to clear out the limbic system in that moment practically. And I encourage people to try that. And I think they'll be surprised at how quickly it dissipates, and then the cortex is engaged more efficiently, more effectively, and then they can make, and I'm not talking about a 45-minute ordeal here. I'm talking about literally 15 seconds, and then you're able to make the decision that you were really struggling with minutes ago.
Yeah, I agree. And it does, whenever you bring the emotion into it, because this is one of the areas that we can just look at as being logistical. Like if you see me on the aisle at Target, staring at the shelf, looking at their website, reading reviews, you would see a very logistical moment in my life. And you would say, she is wasting so much time, which yes, I am. But if you could go inside my brain, you would see I have fear that I'm going to pick the wrong one and it's going to mess up my hair. I have sadness that if I pick the wrong one, I've now spent $40 on something that I don't want to use, that I can't use, that I'll make myself use. So, man, so much sadness there. I have anger that there are so many options. I'm so angry about, can we just pick one thing, you know? And I have shame that I don't know automatically. I am standing in that aisle flooded. Flooded. Somebody might as well have just opened the door and yelled boo at me and scared me to death because my brain is not working anymore. And so you're right. If we could, in those moments, slow down, and if I could say, okay, I have fear that I'm going to pick the wrong one. And so one of my exercises that I like to do with fear is then I ask myself, okay, well then what's the worst thing that could happen if I pick the wrong one? Okay, the worst thing that could happen, I've wasted $40, or I could bring it back. And if I can slow down to myself to actually ask myself those questions, then I can move to the decision much faster. But if I sit there in the flood, if you don't know how to process your emotions, if you can't identify your emotions, you're going to sit there in the flood. And so if I sit there in that, well, we all know, well, I shouldn't say we all, connection coders know that when your brain is flooded by emotion, you become a slower, dumber version of yourself because you're literally not functioning at your highest level. And so when we slow down, when we ask, okay, what's the fear? This is the fear. Okay, well now what's the worst thing that will happen? Oh, I'll bring it back. I bring stuff back to Target all the time. I can do that. Now it becomes much more manageable to pick something up off the shelf and buy it. But it really does. It takes that slowing down moment. I also think about friends in restaurants. There's such decision fatigue in ordering food. You know, Glenn, are you the one that likes to order after everybody else?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, which that's brilliant science, or, you know, it's not technically science, a way to live. Listen to what everybody else is going to order and then base your decision on what everybody else thinks is good. I need to know what I'm eating for dinner every morning. I need to know that morning what is happening so I can plan my day around it. Food is so important to me. I just need y'all to know how important food is to me. And if I know I'm going to a restaurant, like, okay, our 15th wedding anniversary is coming up, trying to plan which restaurant. Decision fatigue. What restaurant? Because now I also have to look at all the menus to decide what I'm going to eat. And so if I can just plan now Glenn and Phyllis are like, Tira, I didn't know you wasted so much time in your life. We need to rethink this arrangement.
Well, it's funny because I am thinking, wow, Tira, I'm so glad we're doing this podcast.
Yeah,
we're learning so many
much
things
about me.
And decision fatigue may be a really
it's a real personal thing. And it revolves around, I think I find it most in my food and in things I'm treating myself to, which for me, shampoo is a treat because I don't just buy the $2 shampoo anymore. So if it's a treat, something I don't typically do, then I put a lot of weight on it. And so it may even be dissecting that, like looking into where am I struggling making decisions? Does it tend to be around my kids? Does it tend to be around self-care? Does it tend to be around, what I'm doing hourly, like day to day? And so when you're able to like dissect those moments and then dissect the emotions around those moments, whew, you're a smarter version of yourself.
Yeah, and I do want to specify that when we say you're a dumber version of yourself, we're not trying to insult people. It's just the human condition is what happens. You're not dumb, but you appear dumb. And I think about, all of our kids started working for us when they were 8. And as they got older and they started observing their fascinating father trying to do business, I would spend an entire afternoon driving from store to store to store to get the best deal. And I don't remember which one it was, but I remember the first time one of them said, "Dad, you spent 2.5 hours and you saved $6. And I'm like, well, you don't understand economics. And again, I have no idea. It was when they were 12 or something. But as time passed, I'm like, oh, that's true. My gosh, I'm not even making minimum wage. I'm spending half a day to save $20, whatever, to save $50. It's not worth it. Just buy the thing. Could you have gotten a better deal? Maybe, I don't know. But you will make so much more money just getting busy and getting the job done, which I was an expert at not getting the job done. And so I look like a dumb version of myself. It's like, how in the heck did he make a 3-week job last 2 months for the same price, which I did over and over and over again. And of course, this poor girl was watching this going, how, and that's what she said to me years ago. She said, "Babe, as hard as you work, we should be rich, and we're not rich, so you have to quit working." Which is just stunning to me that she had the guts to do that. And of course, then she built her business and we didn't starve to death. But I did that over and over and over and over again because I was so overwhelmed at the idea of making the wrong decision, buying the wrong thing, and didn't know the way pre-connection codes, had no idea how to process through what was happening for me.
Right. Now, I'm really glad that this question came in just because it reminds us that everything we do, there's emotion behind it. And learning the connection codes, it really has made me see every action that I take is because I'm experiencing an emotion, and my action will depend on if I've processed that emotion or if I'm flooded by it.
Yeah.
And that's how I'm going to present to the world.
Wow.
Well, this may seem like a tangent, but let's talk about the fact that you got Taylor Swift tickets.
I did.
That's like insane because
did.
everyone else I know would kill for those Taylor Swift tickets.
Yes.
So, but it's interesting that you're saying that you've spent a lot of time trying to figure out what you're going to wear to that concert. And you know what? Immediately, I think that it's joy, I would assume. You're just flooded with joy.
Yes.
And so there's a lot of joy around looking at different outfits or I don't know how you even go about that. I cannot even imagine.
I will show you TikToks when we're done.
Thank you. But I'm just so not that person.
Yeah.
Like we laughed about this yesterday that I showed up at this big shoot to get all these headshots done, and I never thought about the fact that I needed to know what to wear.
Yeah.
So we were laughing about this. Or was that with Haley and Nathan?
Yeah.
Okay, we were laughing about that. I never thought about the clothes I was supposed to wear.
Right.
And yet that's a really big deal. Or that, there's value in knowing what to wear to a big photo shoot for headshots. So I'm just so opposite. Like I would never think ahead of time what I'm going to wear to a concert, no matter what concert it was. But I think, so that for you is such a joy experience. And you go, okay, you still need to process that joy because it can become something where it begins to affect you in a sense. You're losing sleep because you're staying up half the night watching videos.
Okay, call me out.
Or, your husband may go, really, babe? Like, wow, there's all these other things that need to get done and you're spending days and days. So there's times when even joy is not, which you've always said that joy is neither, a positive or a negative. It just is.
Right.
And there's times though that we have to process it out. And yet at the same time, you're like, yeah, but that for me is so much joy in the process of getting to go to the concert and you go, okay, well, it's just a time thing, right? So this other person may be spending 2 hours watching a show. Well, you're not watching a show for 2 hours. You're researching what to wear to the Taylor Swift concert.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, again, for your family members, it's realizing just because you do this one way, I may never even think to do it,
Yeah.
but to not judge you over that, not to be unkind to you, not to be like, well, that's just stupid. What in the world? It's like, no, it's not stupid. It's a joy experience for you. It might never, ever be one for me. And, and I even think about that for myself. I don't enjoy shopping for anything. Well, so I try to take people with me when I have to go. Not necessarily the grocery store, even though, to be honest, that is a real lonely experience for me by myself.
Yeah.
I actually just don't go,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Well, most of the time when you
I
go,
don't.
you take one of our grandkids.
That's
with
right.
you.
When I do
And it
go,
becomes
and I
fun.
take
It's
either
crazy.
our youngest daughter or a friend. I know Bridget's gone with me, or sometimes when the grandkids are over, I'm like, hey guys, let's go to the store. And then it's a joy experience. But by myself, I'm like, yeah, I'm not going. I'll be like, hey, we're out of milk, babe. You might want to stop at the gas station because I'm not going to the grocery store because it's just I don't like it. And so, I think that it's identifying things for yourself so that you don't get yourself into decision fatigue, whatever it is. Like, even if it's a decision of, I need to buy a car, then find someone who loves that and get them to do it with you. If for you, it is just a huge fear experience.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and people just don't realize that the emotions are happening continuously. I remember not that long ago, I mean, probably the last couple of years, that we would say, my theory is that every human experiences all 8 core emotions every day. I don't believe that anymore. I think we all experience all 8 core emotions every hour. That is, and again, it's just brain chemistry, and we'd have to hook everybody up to a brain scan to know for sure. But for us to start realizing that, oh my gosh, not at 43 feet of the emotion, not at the maximum of the emotion, but words like hesitancy, uncertainty, apprehension, well, those are fear words. Those are fear experiences. Maybe pick a number, 2 feet, 3 feet of fear, but I feel uncertain about this. I feel fear about choosing this product over that product, which is one of the reasons I love Aldi, by the way, is because you just, if you want chips, here's your chips, buddy.
Yeah.
It's real easy to go
No
shopping
options.
there. No.
One option. You want shampoo? Go to Aldi.
or
There's
not?
one type.
Which I think that's one of the reasons that Aldi is so successful, because it's just easy. It's go down the
Right.
aisle, yes or no, yes or no.
Yeah.
But
Well, except that one aisle. They have the one aisle
It's true.
at
what?
Aldi where they have miscellaneous
Random
items,
stuff,
random
Oh,
stuff.
that's true.
I
Yeah,
spend more time in that one aisle than the whole other grocery.
yeah, but you don't have
part.
11 possibilities of that item. You either
That's
get
true.
that item or you don't. But anyway, to recognize the fear experience, and I would suggest it's either a pain or a fear experience or a combination of the two, that's what leads to decision fatigue. But the fatigue comes from the unprocessed emotion, not from the decision. And my fear is that people think it's because of the decision, it's because of the logistics. It's not. It's because the emotion is wearing you out because you have to make so many decisions. But if you process in the moment exactly as it's happening, then you process through. Because these decisions are not going away.
Yeah.
You're not going to finish up in March and there you go. I've made all the decisions for the year. Nope. There's going to be brand new decisions every day of the year. It's an ongoing. That's just part of the human condition. No matter where you live, how you live, that you always have decisions to make.
Right.
So it's
I do
emotional
love
issue.
the partnership of it too, because I think there's some people who absolutely love certain aspects of everyday life. Like some people love to cook, and so they were, to know, my friend is really good at this. So get that friend to help with a menu plan and with a grocery list, because usually they just eat it up and they receive so much identity from you even asking,
Yeah.
or I mean, there's so many things. Like I know you and Wes vacation have been all over the world.
Yeah.
And I always think, if I have Glenn even said that the other day about he's got a rowing machine, and he's like, I got to get Wes Wages over here and help me figure out this whatever the thing, what is it called?
Like
the
the
monitor.
screen?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the screen, like how to use the screen on your rowing machine. But it's like, Wes is so good at those kinds of things. And so it brings identity for people who are really good at certain things. And that's just, to me, that's living in teamship.
Yeah.
To be able to go, that person's really great at it. And I was thinking, Glenn and I went to this barbecue camp over the weekend, and some friends asked us, and they were doing it, and I had a blast. Glenn had to leave early. I stayed till the last minute. I wasn't planning on that. But it was so fascinating. And I learned all about how to grill, how to buy a grill, the best grills, how to make the best burger. And then we got to eat the food. It was amazing. And I had so much fun. And I have just gotten all into it now. I bought myself 2 grills now since Saturday.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't wait to try it out. But got on buy, sell, trade, bought used stuff just in case it doesn't play out that I'm actually going to start cooking. So we'll see. But it's just like our friend Mike is so into it and loves it. And then I've been texting him and, and I'm like, yeah, with partnership, if left on my own, I would have never, absolutely never. Matter of fact, I tell people all the time, I don't grill. And, and it's like, but now that I've gone to this and now I have a friend who's like texting me back when I go, am I supposed to buy this? How do I do this? And, even going to that class, I actually took video after video because I was like, I'll never remember all this.
Right.
And yet I took notes and I did short videos so that I could keep them and go back over it.
Yeah. No, I think that's so great. And so to sum it up, if you are someone like me and Glenn who experience decision fatigue, we recommend first, like finding a friend, actually, no, I'm backing up. First, look at what area you are struggling with that in. What area of life do you tend to find yourself having the most issues with the decisions? Then 2, find friends who enjoy those things, that have knowledge about those areas, and reach out. That is what partnership is, and that's what it looks like. And then slow down. I think that is probably 2 of the biggest words we say. We talk a lot about processing emotions, but you can't process your emotion if you don't slow down. And so slow down and get to the root of what's happening for you. Do the core emotion wheel to yourself about that issue. And then ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen? And what do you need to move forward? And so with that, I'll try this out. I'm going to test it.
Okay. Okay.
And I will report back. And we like to end every episode doing our core emotion wheel. And that is our proven tool to help you learn how to identify those emotions so you're not standing flooded on the target aisle.
I love that. And I'm actually going to ask you to do the wheel
I was just thinking
and
that
do
same
an
thing.
issue-specific wheel about finding your shampoo.
About finding my shampoo specifically.
Yeah.
Which I do have to say, because I'm sure there are listeners like, what? You're going to do a whole issue-specific wheel about finding the quote-unquote correct shampoo? Yeah, that's exactly what we need, is to be able to process the emotion. And again, you can do this in 20 seconds. We're not talking about a 45-minute sit-down. So I just think, some people be like, what? A whole issue-specific wheel about, yeah. Absolutely.
Or it may be more fun to do an issue-specific wheel about finding the outfits you're
Taylor
going to wear
Swift
to the
outfit.
Taylor Swift
Ooh,
concert.
okay, I can do that pretty quickly.
Okay, there we go.
I have shame because I'm not very creative. And these girls are super creative out there in their outfits. And so I have shame that mine won't be good enough.
Oh, wow.
I have guilt that I have spent so much time trying to figure this out. I have sadness because I'm only going to one show. And I love to dress up. I love a theme. I love a party. And I only get to do it once. So I feel like it has to be the best.
Okay.
So I have sadness about that. I have hurt that things are just so expensive. Like some of the things I'm looking at, I'm like, I don't want to spend $200 on this outfit. So I'm hurt about that. I have fear. Did I already say fear? I have fear that I've ordered some shorts and they're not going to fit. And so I need some backups, and that what I'm going to order is just not going to be right. It's not going to fit what I'm envisioning in my head. I feel lonely because some of my friends that are also going, they're kind of being gatekeepers. And we know Swifties are not supposed to be gatekeepers. And so when I ask them, like, well, what are y'all doing? They're not super open to telling me. And so I feel a little loneliness in that. And I said anger, guilt, sad, hurt, lonely, fear. I'm missing one of the ones. Joy. I have joy
somewhere.
because I am doing this with my girl. My Olive girl is going with me to Taylor Swift, and we've already got her outfit. It's so much easier for me to help somebody else pick theirs out. We have hers, and we are going to dance the night away. And I just cannot wait. I have so much joy that I get to do that with her.
So fun.
Yeah.
Wow. Love that so much. And when is this concert?
It is in May 6th.
Okay. We may
Yes.
have to have you wear the outfit on a podcast for those
That's a great
who watch. They can, I mean, now I'm dying. Like, I got to know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
Somehow,
hilarious.
for
And it
all
is
of the
tax-deductible,
listeners.
I think.
It's tax deductible.
Just saying.
I appreciate that.
For all the
Awesome.
listeners, they're going to be dying to know what
Yes.
did you wear to the Taylor
Yes.
Swift concert.
Yeah. I'll be, whew, I can't wait. So exciting. So much
Wow.
joy.
That's
Well,
amazing.
Thank you so much for listening. And while this episode, I'm glad it was pretty lighthearted, but it still just shows the effectiveness of these tools and how they apply to every single aspect of our lives. And so if you have not already done the core emotion wheel for yourself, you can find that on our website at connectioncodes.co/podcast. It's a free download with a video of Dr. Glenn and Phyllis showing how to do the wheel and giving specific instructions that have been tested. They have been researched thoroughly on how to do this so it's the most effective in your life. And yes, you can do this with yourself. You can process, you can journal. We got an email this week from someone who does it while she's doing her sun salutations in yoga. And I loved that thought. And so just being continually aware of what's happening in your body opens you up to being a smarter version of yourself, which is what we are all hoping for. And so, yeah, go to connectioncodes.co/podcast to get that free tool.
Yeah. And as we always want to say, share this episode and leave a review, give us a 5-star review, because that is what makes a difference. That gets this information out to more and more people, which is our goal and our desire,
I
because
want you to remember that you need this.
you deserve this.
So
So
let's
let's
do
do
this.
this.
Let's do this.